G'day, welcome to the show. Sell Covers here. Very frustrating night last night. We will explain why in a moment. Let's have a recap of where our action was last night. So we cashed on the Piston plus 6.5. Got some great CLV on that bet. That game closed at Pistons plus 4.5. We picked off the right spot there. We saw that line start to move. We picked up another Pistons plus 6 ticket. That game was very interesting. I mean, Pistons had the lead. They were up by almost like 7 or 10 in the second quarter. That was a great game to watch. Lots of drama in that game. Cade gets ejected. JB Bickerstaff just going crazy on the sidelines. That game finished at OKC winning by 6. I was thinking about playing some of that bet back towards OKC minus 4.5. Could have cashed on both sides if we did that. Otherwise, we just take the Pistons plus 6.5, got that down for 3 units, cash that, get the push on plus 6. We thought it was time to sell high on the Bulls. Played Houston minus 8.5. That was just way off the mark. Bulls were leading for most of that game. Houston just came back in the fourth quarter, ended up winning by about 4 or 5. Bulls, they just continue to play hard and try to win these games. They are not interested in tanking whatsoever. We also had the Grizzlies minus 7.5. Walked into that game with a bad CLV ticket, and that's because Jar got ruled out. I did mention that Jar's always a chance to get ruled out of these games. That dude just cannot play like 3 straight games. He's just not capable of it. But Grizzlies end up smoking the Heat. Heat are just not very good at the moment. I'm not sure if they're tanking, but they are just not good at the moment. A team that you should be looking to fade going forward. And let's get into why this was a frustrating night, because we were very close to having a 3-1 night for plus money. Yeah, plus about 4 or 5 units on the night. Let's get into why it was such a frustrating night. We will be back.
One pair of pants later.
Okay, we are back, and let's watch the last 6 seconds of this Warriors-Knicks game. Keeping in mind, we are holding a Warriors minus 6 ticket. Had that down for 3 units. Game closed at Warriors minus 6.5. Let's see what happens. We've got Steph shooting 2 free throws. Over 90% free throw shooter, so, close to 81% chance that he nails both. Probably higher. Steph's more like a 93, 94%. So, yeah, look. Steph misses the first free throw. So now, our best outcome is getting a push. That would have still given us a winning night tonight if we pushed this bet. Steph makes a second. We're thinking, okay, Knicks surely run it out. You got no timeouts left. No, 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 no! And that's it. We lose the cover on that game because OG Anunoby shoots a meaningless 3 to get the Knicks to cover. Hate to see that, man. That is one of the worst beats I've ever seen. Just an awful beat. That was a tough 3 as well by Anunoby.
One pair of pants later.
8 games on the slate. First, we have the 76ers in Dallas in what might be the most disgusting game of the season. This is just a gross game. Lots of injuries on both sides. No Maxey, no Paul George, no Drummond, no Oubre, no Bona, no Gafford, Lively, Davis, PJ Washington is back. If you happen to bet this game, you have to be a sick man. I am one of those sick men. Nothing from me on the spread. We saw the rec books open at 3.5 to Dallas. Sharp books opened it at 6. Now we see it at 6.5. Nothing for me on the spread, but looking at the total, we saw this open at 221.5 at the rec books, maybe 222s as well. I immediately thought to myself, Sixers, like with this like G League Sixers team, they've been catching over steam in the last 4 games. Every single total has just popped up. We had a look at the projections. We saw this projected total at 229 and just thought, yep, give me an over. Why not? The over is also 7-3 for the Sixers in the last 10 games. They just don't seem to be playing any defense. They are also have increased the pace a little bit as well. So yeah, strictly based on the fact that the Sixers have been catching over steam, they are an over team as well. We played over 222, got that down for 2 units. Now we see the total at 225. Yep, still there. And as for current numbers, I have nothing there. I may look to play some of this bet back, to be honest. I do not feel great about this over, but so far we will take it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter if you want to get these bets as I place them. Let's just get this game off my screen, though. If you watch this game, you are just sick. We won't be watching that game. We'll be checking the on screen, seeing how the live total is going. And let me just fix my screen. So next we have Suns in LA. By the way, it's a Sunday. We've got a few day games on today, so don't feel great about taking an over in a day game. Next, Lakers and Suns. Lakers' first game back home after a disastrous road trip, going 0-4. Luka and Jackson Hayes are probable. Rui is out. DFS is questionable. Nick Richards is probable. This is obviously a get-right spot for the Lakers, but it's also the third game in 3.5 days. There's another one of these spots that I'm looking at very closely. So it's basically, Lakers, they just played a back-to-back, Bucks in Denver now. They get a day off. Following day, they're playing a day game. So it's 3 games in 3.5 days. That's not great for the Lakers, but then again, they sat the entire team against the Nuggets besides Austin Reeves. We saw Bronny James just getting way too much court time that game. Lakers, great team against the spread at home, 21-11 at home against the spread. Suns are 7-22 against the spread. After a win, they just beat the Kings, got a good win there. Projections like the Lakers, that does bake in LeBron playing. This is a spot where I do like the Lakers, but I want to see if the sharp books move this line to a -4. We've seen this open at -3.5. I'm happy to take the -4 if the market moves there. So this is what I am looking at. The Suns have been playing better. Even if their record doesn't show it, they played the Rockets tough. They beat the Clippers. They played the Grizzlies and the Nuggets tough. They have been playing better. They have been covering a few of these games as well. I think they covered against the Nuggets and the Grizzlies. Haven't played the Lakers yet, but I am looking at them. Looking at the total, we saw the rec books open at 229.5. Sharp books open at 231. Now at 229, but we've seen Circa just move this to 230. 2 pace down teams, Lakers and under teams. Suns on the road are an over team, going 22-13 to the over. Day games favour the under. I lean under, but I'm not playing into it. Next, we have the Atlanta Hawks in Brooklyn. Atlanta Hawks in Brooklyn. And we will be back.
1 pair of pants later.
Okay, we are back. As I was saying, Nets hosting the Hawks. Hawks coming off a bad loss at home against the Clippers. Nets in a back-to-back spot, losing against the Celtics. They did play the Celtics well that game. Fairly clean injury report here. Cam Thomas is out for the season. Nick Claxton should be back in. The Nets, they don't have any incentive to win, but I don't know if they're tanking. Like, first-time head coach Jordi Fernandez. We see the projected line at Nets of Hawks -3. Spread opened at -5.5. Now at -6. I don't have anything here on the spread. I think this. Oh, we still see it at -5.5 at Bet365. We see the sharper books at -6. Looking at the total, Nets have been catching some oversteam with Cam Thomas. Now that he's out, I expect him to go back towards the under. We saw this game open at 229.5 at the sharp books. Now at 228.5. So seen some movement here towards the under, which I can certainly agree with. Don't feel great about playing Hawks under, but that's sort of the market movement. I don't have anything on this game. Let's keep it rolling. Next, we have the Orlando Magic and Cleveland Cavaliers. This is another day game, and this is a spot where the Orlando Magic are playing the third game in 3.5 days, and third game on the road for that matter. So they played in New Orleans against the Pelicans, a bit of a light game there. They played in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. That was a tough game, and now they had a day's rest, and now the following day playing a day game in Cleveland against the Cavs. These teams played about 2 weeks ago in Orlando. Cavs won by 40. Mobley, Donovan Mitchell are questionable, so you're getting a good price on the Cavs. Cole Anthony is also questionable. He's really important for the Magic. Projected line at 17 for the Cavs. I'm looking very closely at the Cavs right now. One thing I am waiting on is I want to see some market movement towards the Cavs. The sharp books have stood pretty firm at -10. I would love this spot a lot more for the Cavs if they didn't beat the Magic by 40. I want to see some first half lines for the Cavs as well. Like I've said in previous episodes, the Cavs, they are a team I want to back when they're sitting out any of their big four, because you're going to get a better number on them. And it's like, oh, Evan Mobley is out, like Dean Wade, DeAndre Hunter, you guys are playing the four this game. Like they just have so many guys who can just fill in perfectly. So again, keep your eyes on my Twitter. I'm keeping an eye on the odds screen as well. I see any sort of movement towards the Cavs, I'm picking up the Cavs -10. Total we saw open at 219 and is still available. We have the best over team versus the second worst over team. Cavs pace up, Magic pace down. Nothing from me here on the total. Next, we have the Raptors in Portland. Jeremy Grant is doubtful. Simon's questionable. Denny is in. Denny's just one of those, like, he's super slept on player. Just a big ball handler who's a matchup nightmare. Quickly is out. RJ Barrett is questionable. Scotty is in. The Raptors, they've just been doing some funky shit with their rotations. Like, the starters aren't playing more than 30 minutes. Clearly trying to tank. We saw this spread open at Blazers -4.5. Look, given the Raptors, like their rotation, the things they're doing with their rotations, they're clearly trying to tank. We picked up a Blazers -5 for 3 units. Blazers are 17-5 against the spread versus the East, but the Raptors are also very good against the spread versus the West, 18-5. Nobody knows about these teams. Now seeing the spread, need to change that up. Now seeing the spread, where are we? Now seeing the spread at 6.5, you can pick up a 7 as well if you like. I am considering playing some of this back towards the Raptors. I haven't done it as of yet. Yeah, like the Raptors, even though they're trying to tank, they still just beat the Jazz outright in Utah. Looking towards the total, we have seen Circa move the total down a full point. This was originally 229.5 at the sharp books. Projections do like the under here. Quickly being out, he's definitely an over player. Um, that's why I stopped the video before, because I wanted to try pick up a 229.5. I was not able to. Now sitting at 228.5. I might still play into it, haven't as of yet. Let's move on to the Jazz and Timberwolves. Jazz and Timberwolves. Timberwolves coming off a good win against the Magic. Jazz coming off a loss to the Raptors. Markkanen and Sexton are in. Markkanen's going to be playing a lot more since the Jazz got fined. Clarkson, Collins, Keontae George all out. Timberwolves have been playing very well recently, but they also have the Pacers on deck the following night. Could be a bit of a look-ahead spot for the Wolves. Is this a revenge game for the Wolves? The Jazz beat the Wolves outright in Utah last game, but there was no Rudy, no Ant, no Randall. I do kind of like the Jazz here. Just because of that look-ahead angle. Don't really like backing the Wolves as heavy home favourites either. The total we have seen pop up, this was at 231 when I started recording. We now see it at 233. This Circa at 233.5. Looks like we missed on the over here, so let's keep it moving. We have the Thunder in Milwaukee. Both teams here on a back-to-back spot. We are laying the wood with the Thunder. We saw this spread open at the rec books at -3. We saw it open at the sharp books at -4. We have actually seen the sharp books move back to 3.5. Now 3.5s everywhere. Don't feel great about that, but projections do love OKC here. Have it at OKC -8.5. If you price in Jalen Williams being out, he's probably worth about 2 points. Lou Dort probably not going to play this game. Bucks. You know how I feel about the Bucks if you've been watching previous episodes. They are not good against good teams. They are 3-15 straight up against teams that are top 10 in net rating. Bucks also 3-9-1 against the spread with no rest. 6-12 against the spread against top 10 teams in net rating. Thunder 15-5 against the spread versus the East. 4 pushes as well. Also 18-12 as away favourites. I expect Shea and Chet to both play. It's a national TV game. We do like the Thunder here. We picked them up at 3.5. Got that down for 3 units. Still there, still playable. I encourage it. Oh, we've seen Circa just move back to 4. That's what we like to see. Circa, and now we see Bookmaker, which is another sharp book. They are now at 4.5. So get down on it right now. Go pick up some Thunder. I like this spot for them. I do not like the Bucks against good teams. We saw the total open at what did it open at? Open at 233.5 at the rec books. Where did it open at? The sharp books. It opened at 233.5 at the sharp books as well. So we've seen some movement towards the under here. That is understandable, given that they're both on a back-to-back. We do see projections like the over. Maybe if this keeps creeping down, we can fade the market. I don't have anything here on the total. Let's get into the last game here. My Clippers playing the Hornets. God, I hate the Hornets. Scoring 145 in a game that we had the under on. Chris Dunn is out. LaMelo is questionable. LaMelo is in. Powell is questionable. As Hornets, 145 points in their last game. Now playing a Sunday afternoon game in LA. That's a fade spot and an under spot. Hornets, young team, get that Saturday night off in LA. Clippers, best home team in the league against the spread. Do I love laying 12 with them? No. Projections do like the Clippers minus 14.3. Hornets have been playing better. Clippers have the Cavs, Grizzlies, Thunder on deck at home. So not touching the spread. I do have that Cavs Clippers game circled. That's one where I do want to back the Clippers to minimum cover as home underdogs, potentially snap that Cavs winning streak. Looking towards the total, we see a massive edge here towards the under. This opened at 223.5 at the rec books, around 222 at the sharp books. The under is 5-1 for the Hornets in games after they scored 120 in the previous game. Clippers 10-5 to the under against bottom 10 pace teams. We have 2 pace down teams, 2 top 5 under teams. We saw these teams play in Charlotte in early February. Total opened at 214, got bet down to 208. Now, LaMelo didn't play that game, neither did Norm Powell. This total just feels way too high for me. I played under 222, got that down for 2 units. Still there, you can still find that. We've seen Bookmaker just move down to 221. Circa still sitting at 221.5. Go play this now, under 222. Let's get into our recap of our best bets. Alright, our best bets for today. Let's get the odds screen off. Best bets for today, we've got 4 of them. Philly and Dallas over 222. Got that down for 2 units. Don't feel great about that, but since it's sitting at 225 now, we like that. Maybe going to play some of this back if it gets any higher. These teams are just decimated by injuries, but Philly have been catching some oversteam. We also got the Blazers -5, now sitting at 6.5 or 7. Another one that I'm looking to play some of it back. Keep an eye out on my Twitter. Again, when you guys see me play my bets back, if you have not played the original bet, I would just stay off it completely. Like, if you're not holding a Blazers -5, don't go ahead and play Raptors +7 if I tweet it out. Just trying to catch that middle, just trying to minimize some of the risk on my initial bet. We also have the Thunder -3.5. We saw Circa move back to -3.5. Then quickly go back to -4. We see another sharp look at 4.5 now, so go pick up an OKC ticket. Don't like the Bucks against good teams. We also have the Clippers and Hornets under 222. We seen a sharp book move down to 221, so like that ticket as well. We can still play it at 221.5. That's all from me. Frustrating day yesterday. That's 3 straight losing days. Let's hope this one is a winner. So far, all 4 of our tickets are plus CLV. That's all we can hope for going into these games. Till next time. Let's get the books salty.